Hello, this is Insane Monster, and this will be part 0 of What If Asta was Igneel's son. Now, we take you back 500 years from the beginning of the anime, and it's a wedding. And at that wedding, there's a woman with a baby and her husband. But the husband is a dragon. Everything's going well until the sky turns dark and it starts raining magic attacks because the wedding is under siege. During that, the dragon protects his wife, his child, and another at the wedding. One who has magic to send small objects through time, who also has the ability to tell a little bit about what era that the time that he's sending the object to. Quickly, the mother puts the child in a basket, and the father puts in the basket with the child a magic bag that will only open for someone of his bloodline. And the child was sent away. In the bag held a scarf, some books, and a letter along with the some very special objects that the father has been working on. And oddly enough, this boy was Asta, though physically he does look a bit different. The hair's red, and his ears are pointed. And he neither goes to Hodge Village. Where he does go is in the greenery near the base of the Crimson Lions, Magic Knight Squad's base. And some time passes, and he begins to cry. And when that happens, his magic runs wild, and flames shoot out everywhere, burning and catching all of the trees on fire. While the magic knights of the Crimson Lions try to put it out, a woman who's running through the flames, trying to figure out what's going on. She hears an infant crying, and when she finds out where's it coming from, she sees a baby shooting flames everywhere. She starts to react and heads straight for the child using her flame magic, to surround the child and contain his fire. This woman was named Melaleona. Hopefully I said that name right, because it is a long name with whatever. But once she had the child contained and his flames as well, the Crimson Lions were able to extinguish the flames. Then the squad members find her containing a baby within her magic, calming it down. Once the child was calmed, they were able to get him inside. There was discussion about what to do with the child. Some people think it would be best to send it to an orphanage, but others thought that it'd be too dangerous, that the moment the child cried again, he'd burn the place down along with everything and everybody in it. So, the current captain decides to keep him at the base and charges Leona as the child's caretaker with her. Right after that, she said, "Why the hell do I have to take care of this kid?" With the captain stating, "You are the only one who can contain that child's flames. You realize that, yes?" Then she just gets an aggravated look on her face. And she says, "All right, fine, but I need someone to help me. Someone with water magic. I don't care who, just get them." So, days went by. Leona had contained his flames while every time he cried, while the person with water magic extinguished any flames that got out before she was able to contain the asta. About 2 years passed, and Asta's walking around. He wakes up early, and decides to go venture out of his crib. When Leona wakes up, she finds that Asta is gone, with the crib having a hole burned through it. She starts yelling out, "Where is Asta? Where is he?" Then the whole Crimson Lions squad begins to panic, worried that the kid's gonna burn the base down, and they start running everywhere. Then the member said, "I found him," and they found him in a very strange place that they were not expecting to find him. The Crimson Lions keep actual lions as a, guess you can say, a mascot in a kind of like a zoo exhibit thing. There are quite a few of them. And when Leona gets there, she sees Asta sleeping on top of the mane of the alpha lion, with all the others surrounding them. And she just looks with a blank face. Her first question with the blank face, "How did this happen?" Then a very rage-filled face, she yells out, "And how the hell did he get in there to begin with?" Which then the guy who found him pointed out a opening in the gate where the steel was melted. But he also did say, "Sorry, but I cannot even imagine how to answer the first question, my lady." So, once that happened, Meliona just used her magic to grab Asta and bring him back. Skip to 3 years when they're 5. He finally meets Leopold, where he is at the age of 6, and they're being told about the Clover Kingdom's history, about the demon and his fight with it, even where his statue and the demon's corpse is. They got excited and would ask if they can go see it. Leona, she didn't think that there'd be any harm in it, and agreed to bring them. They went the next day. They went early in the morning to go see it, and spent a lot of time checking out the skull and everything, amazed about how large it is. Though they did spend quite a long time there to where it got dark. On the way back, Asta was just checking out, looking at the stars, relaxing. Then he heard he heard another kid say, "Help." He knew it wasn't Leopold's voice, but he somehow heard it. And there was nobody else around them. He thought, "Who was that? Where are you?" Then he heard the child's voice said, "Help," again. He instantly reacted and jumped off the magic carpet that they were flying on without Leopold or Leona's knowing. And as he was falling, he on instinct grew the wings of a dragon and flew directly to where he sensed the voice coming from. When he saw where the voice was coming from, it was a child being pushed around by an adult. While the child was begging to give his pendant back, the man just threatened him to attack the child with his grimoire. And Asta was enraged, flew directly toward the man and punched him hard enough in the back of the head to send him flying right into the snow. He's basically knocking him out. He got the pendant from the man and gave it back to the small child. It was a boy with black hair and I guess you say gold eyes. But a minute or two later, he sensed something coming, and at very fast speed. When he turned around, there was a large crash where he saw Melly Leona just staring at him, and completely covered in fire, and he just said with a worried voicing, "Hi, Ma." Since Meliona raised him, he was basically like a mother to him. Then he said, while Meliona was yelling, "What? Where? How did you get here?" Then he said, "I heard somebody in trouble, and I went to them." Then after that, she noticed the wings and just confused, and then saw the man lying in the snow, asking what happened. Well, and also replied with, "This guy was bullying this kid." And Yunlo just said, "He took my pendant and he wouldn't give it back. He said he was going to sell it so he can have money for drinks." Then, when she heard that, she made a fireball in her hand and just decided to set the man's literal ass on fire, waking him up real quick and making him run to the nearest source of water to put it out. Then she just said, "Asta, we're leaving." Instantly, Asta replied with, "Wait, can't we bring this kid back home?" She sighed, saying, "Yes, we should probably at least do that." They bring home and say their goodbyes, but before they left, asked, "Hey, what's your name?" He Asta replied with, "My name's Asta." And told him his name and said goodbye. On the way, while they were heading back, Melly Leona was just pulling on his cheeks, spreading them out. His face cheeks just spreading them out. While Asta saying, "Ow, ow, 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 I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Then, once he let him go, she asked, "How did you get those wings?" He said, "I don't know. They just came out." Then she asked, "Can you make them come out again?" He looks at her saying, "Maybe." And when he focuses on his back, they pop back out. With Leopold looking at him saying, "Whoa, that's amazing." Sorry. And then she like, "Asta, never show this in front of people other than us unless you have to." He said, "Why?" She just replied, yelling, saying, "Just don't." Once they got back, they just went to bed with Melly Leona thinking, "What is this kid?" Skip over to where they are 11. Fligolion decides to bring Leopold and Asta to the Magic Knight's entrance exam to let them see what it's like. Though they were to be where they couldn't be seen by the examinees. Looking out on them, there was a match held by a commoner child. He looks like a child, but he is 15, who uses lightning magic, and the nobles. And the match goes pretty quickly, with the commoner beating the noble pretty badly and brutally. As you guessed it, this child-looking 15-year-old is Luck Voltia. At the end, when Luck steps up to be chosen for a squad, no one raises their hands but Captain Yami of the Black Bulls. Everybody is surprised that this kid got into a Magic Knight squad, but not too surprised knowing that he's going into the Black Bulls. On the way home, Figolion says, "How can Yami choose someone like that?" someone so brutal and obviously mentally unstable, then then Asta states, it's not that hard to think about it. We go and say, what do you mean? I don't think, Asta replies with, I don't think that Yami guy chose him because of what he is now. What do you, with Leopold saying, what do you mean? I, the, with Asta replying with, I think that Yami guy, he doesn't see people for who they are now, but what they could be, I guess. That's what it feels like, at least. With Frigolion on looking surprised of what this kid just said, and thinking that that might actually be what Yami looks at when he chooses squad members. Though he thinks that doesn't matter right now. At the age of time goes on, and at the age of 13, Asta's magic starts to grow pretty large, and it's hard for him to contain it in his attacks to a level where he wouldn't completely incinerate somebody. But he went to a training practice with the members of the Crimson Lions, where other people from royal families were watching. In the stands were Leopold, Asta, and on the other side there was two girls, one with silver hair and one with brown. This was Mimosa and Noel. They were talking and thinking about some things about how these guys are really good at combat magic, and how that's pretty typical of the Crimson Lions. However, a stray and very powerful flame attack got a little out of hand and went straight for Mimosa and Noel. Asta instantly reacted after he saw this and got in between them and the fireball. When that happened, he thought, oh great, what now? Then, for some reason, he heard a voice, a deep voice, that sounded kind of gravelly, saying, don't panic, stay strong, and eat the fire. He didn't know whether to listen to the voice or not, but he just said, well, if I'm gonna die from this, then, well, oh man. He starts to inhale once the fireball gets close, and the flames from it just go straight into his mouth until the fireball is completely gone. After swallowing it, he just burps, and everybody just looks at him with a weird expression on all of their face, thinking, how is that possible? Is this kid even really human? Then they start to realize that this is Meliliona's kid, which, by fact, people just go with that because since she raised him from infancy, and nobody is brave enough to actually ask her about it, from a threat of a fire fist to the face. Well, after that happens, there was a lot of questioning on Asta and praising about his magic and stuff. But Asta noticed something else. His magic increased after he ate that fire. And he thought it might be even more of trouble now since, well, his magic has been growing a lot lately since he got into his teens. So he went over to Meliliona and asked her to train him to control his flames so he doesn't hurt anybody by accident. She thinks about this, and she has recognized how his magic has increased dramatically. And because of that, she decides to take him to the neutral area. If you don't know what that is, on the continent of the Clover Kingdom, there is a stretch of land that lies in between the Spade Kingdom on one side, and on the other side, the Heart, Clover, and Diamond Kingdom. It's a neutral area where none of the kingdoms actually own it. And there's a lot of dangerous beasts and animals there. She tells Asta that that's where they'll be training. So she takes them there. But Noel and Mimosa were asking about meeting Asta before they left, but Leona isn't one to waste time, so she just grabs Asta and starts going. So they didn't really get to talk to him after the incident. But once they got there, for the next 2 years, they started training. And Asta learned a lot about his power, about how he could breathe flames and control them in ways that not even Leona could, even shooting them out of all the parts of his body, eating flames to increase and recover his magic, everything that the dragon slayers in fairy tale can do. Also, he found out that not only can he sprout wings, but he can grow scales. But at the moment, he can only grow them on his arms, upper chest, and on his face. After the 2 years of training in the neutral area, they decide to go back, but that's mostly because since Asta's 15 now, and it's time for the ceremony to get a grimoire, they had to go back. Since Hodge Village is really close to the border of the Clover Kingdom and in the neutral zone, they go to the tower that Yuno and Asta would go in canon. And once they get there, they're just waiting for the ceremony to begin. Now, this is where we'll be ending off, and part 1 will start with the beginning of the ceremony of the grimoire selection and all that. So please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Also remember to comment and hit up my Discord. Also special thanks to the one who helped make this, who on the Discord, who goes by the name Braden Gray. So if you see him on Discord, tell him thank you for this idea. And, well, thanks for listening and have a good day.